This summer, our students took 2 different mission trips. Our middle schoolers took a local mission trip in the Idora neighborhood here in Youngstown, Ohio, to serve a local ministry called Hope for Renewal, while our high schoolers went to Uniontown, Pennsylvania to serve at a missions camp called REACH Mission Trips. Each of these trips sought to share the hope of the gospel and the love and compassion of Christ through serving the community members and meeting some of their physical needs. We're going to take a moment to try and recreate these mission trips for you so that you can see some of the things we did, the service projects we worked on, and the ways that this trip impacted our students.
First, we did devotional time. We had our Bibles and pens and booklets, and we found a space throughout the church, and we just sat and we had our own time.
Which devotional time would have these booklets where we would do we would read this verse in the Bible and or maybe verses, and we would answer some questions or do a prayer method.
Acts. It was adoration, confession, thanksgiving, and supplication. And then that day we would eventually discuss it.
During the high school trip, some of the worksite projects included building decks, ramps, re-roofing houses, and repainting houses. These projects were chosen by REACH and given to us to help some of those who are in need in the Uniontown area of Pennsylvania.
We went to the Idora Park neighborhood, and we needed the help there because they're basically called a food desert, and which means they don't have a food store within a 3-mile radius of them.
Helped out as a garden area, so they weeded everything, and then we added weed paper, and we mulched it and then added flowers so that the flowers could attract the bees to help with the garden. They had a cafe storefront.
It's on Glenwood Avenue, and it's basically a building downstairs, and it's a two-bedroom apartment upstairs.
A couple of groups, they plastered the walls, they sanded them, they washed them, and they primed them. One of the days we helped at Gary and Cindy's house, which were the people who basically were the ones who created Hope for Renewal.
We worked at their house and doing concrete in their garage. It was all cracked, and it wasn't it was really deep where they couldn't park their car in there.
Almost half their garage, so they concreted everything.
We finished it within the end of the mission trip.
There was a group helping with the walls upstairs. They were plastering, putting coats of plaster on the walls. A family that needed help may be able to sleep there, or they could have somewhere where that family could go in case they needed to have a place. We were only there for 4 days, and so we took that time to help them so that they could be able to help the other people with they providing a house or providing a room, providing other things that they would need. So we helped with that. For dinner time, a certain group of us was picked to make dinner, and Linda, she helped us make dinner. We made tacos. The group, we prepared the food, and then we set it out on the table, and then we went and we had dinner.
After dinner, we would have a cleanup crew, which would clean the dishes.
Each night at REACH, after dinner, we'd have a program, which was a time where we got to learn and focus our attention on God. They'd have a speaker, they'd have live worship, they'd have time for group discussion, and they even had a live play which helped to illustrate some of the points that were being taught in these lessons.
After all that, we would go and we would do team time.
We broke team time into 3 parts. There was evaluation, Bible study, and encouragement beads. So during that time, during evaluation, we talked about what we did very well, what we did, what we needed to improve on, and the goals we set and if we reached them or not. So during Bible study, we basically discussed what would happen. Basically, we discussed what we did during devotional, like what we wrote down, and like further points about it. And so we just like learned off of what other people wrote. We also, after that, we had worship. We did worship, and then we also had encouragement beads. So
Encouragement beads are little beads that we put on these leather bracelet that we would slip on them every day, and each color represents something. Yellow represents encouragement, and green is acts of service. Red was risk taking, and blue for leadership. Yeah, and then we every day we would say this one saying that I saw God work through you today by, and then we would give them the bead and give them an example of what we were giving them it for.
One of the nights, we went to the Idora Neighborhood Park. They brought like hot dogs and chips and stuff, and they would start cooking, and anybody could come. It was a way for Gary and Cindy to share their ministry with the people in the Idora community.
We went around the Idora neighborhood and we prayed for the people.
We basically prayed for anything and everything we saw. So like we prayed for the lots that were torn down. We prayed for the people we saw, the different buildings that we passed by. So, and we just took our time to just walk around the neighborhood and pray.
My favorite part was meeting new friends and just seeing people that we've never met before, and just seeing their actions and their reactions to what we were doing for them.
So this trip benefited us, because we got to learn new skills and we got to impact this neighborhood, and we got to just have a part in their ministry.
Well, I feel like we benefited from it because we had to do a lot of things for ourselves too. We had to improve in our strengths, in our fears.
It took us a lot of hard work.
This trip impacted our relationship with God by being around Gary and Cindy, because I feel like they were a good influence. They were a good they were good believers in God. They taught us a lot about ministry.
It impacted our relationship with God, because we took time, we took 45 minutes every single day to just be with God, and that helped a lot.